this pass. Don't blow on me, son.
Okay, here is a sentence I didn't think I would hear in this decade. The Canadian Association of Police Chiefs is calling on federal lawmakers to decriminalize the possession of small amounts of illegal drugs for personal consumption. This story did not receive the attention it deserved, and since there's been a recent update, I wanted to cover it. Let's find out why the Police Chiefs of Canada, of all groups, are now recommending that we stop arresting people for simple drug possession. The association came out swinging with the facts showing that Canada has lost the war on drugs. They stated specifically that, quote, arresting individuals for simple possession of illicit drugs has proven to be ineffective. It does not save lives. They went on to state that 18,000 Canadians have lost their lives to drug addiction in the last 6 years alone, with these numbers rising each year. Now remember, this isn't coming from a far left group of enthusiasts or some Facebook petition, but the association that represents the 1,300 police chiefs from federal, First Nations, provincial, regional, transportation, and military police services across the country. They aren't talking about a select few drugs either. No, they mean all drugs.
I got ketamine, meth, MDMA, Adderall, Bromo Dragonfly.
This is the endorsement for taking the fight against drug abuse in a new direction, at least here in Canada. The association's president at the time of the announcement, Chief Constable Adam Palmer, summarized his point by stating, "It's time to rethink how police and governments approach the use and abuse of illegal drugs in order to save lives." They are now calling on federal lawmakers to make the necessary changes to make this happen. In reality, police would then form partnerships with social services and the healthcare sector to ensure a wider access to treatment and programs, while they themselves would focus their efforts on drug trafficking and illegal production. Chief Palmer is speaking from a position of experience, since he serves as the Chief Constable of the Vancouver Police Department, where he has personally witnessed the deadly opioid epidemic that has swept through his city firsthand. His officers are already looking the other way on cases of simple possession. We have come a long way here, people. The province of British Columbia has recently submitted this proposal to Health Canada to officially go ahead with the policy of mass drug decriminalization. Their main advice to the policy was to reconsider lowering the 4.5 grams that would be allotted to each individual, and instead opting for a smaller amount, which can then be increased over time and as required and supported by the evidence. The Canadian government has also been surprisingly very welcoming of these recommendations, and really, how could they not be when it has this kind of backing? In direct response, the feds have now directed prosecutors to only prosecute the most serious of drug possession offenses. The police chiefs, for their part, are also adopting some radical change in their departments, specifically promising to shift their priorities with the goal of becoming a diminishing element when it comes to handling mental health and non-violent drug-related crises. They even went several steps further to ensure that our pennies drop by acknowledging their own systemic racism in policing and admitting they aren't going to fix such a widely ingrained problem by using their own internal police services. Okay, take me now. I am proud as a Canadian that we can admit these previous missteps and work to address our current failures, but we have others to thank for breaking this glass ceiling on these forward-thinking drug policies. For instance, Portugal has recently surpassed the 20-year mark from their decision to decriminalize all drugs, and has done very well by all comparable metrics, both to their European neighbors and us here in North America. They were some of the first to early recognize that drug users don't fit any particular profile or stereotype, and that rigid policies brought a negative stigma that was key to their failure to both recognize and rehabilitate drug users. I'll give credit where it's due though. Vancouver is one of a few select cities in the world where we have led the way on safe injection sites. While in Eugene, Oregon, they have trailblazed on their own mental health response and can now boast that they handle up to 90% of their calls without hard police intervention. This is all simply to say that improvement is still very possible, and despite having a long way to go, we are now standing worlds apart from our original mindset. The difference this time is that we have a clear roadmap to follow and a new perspective on who drug users are and what we can do to better help them get the programs and services they may need. Check out our video detailing humanity's history of drug use here and how we got to this point. Thanks for watching, guys.